Part about the American economy right now is like usually when you see these headlines talking about the economy or headlines about whatever going on in the world, it's like you see it, but you don't see it in real life. You know what's happening. Maybe you see like tiny effects of it or whatever. When it comes to the economy right now, every single person I know is directly visibly affected by the lack of jobs, how much it costs to live increasing, all that other stuff. I am directly seeing and am personally affected. People I see on a daily, weekly basis. And I feel like that speaks to how bad the state of the economy is. Like we're not in a recession. This has to be a Great Depression, and I don't know how people are surviving. Maybe it's credit card debt, maybe it's whatever. But then the funny part of it is when you see these headlines historically, and then maybe you don't necessarily directly see it, we are not hearing anything about this. And all the actual effects that this is having on society, people not going out, people not drinking, not going to clubs, not going to concerts, they attribute it to everything except the fact that everybody's broke. And so, I don't know. I dead ass don't know what's going to happen in like the next coming years.
How are people affording life right now? Because we have a two-income household. Daycare costs $670 a week for two kids. My mortgage is $2,777. I don't qualify for EBT. And trust me, if I did, I'd be using I don't care. Oh, plus diapers and pull-ups. And then we have gas, car insurance. The gas out here is not that bad. It's about $3. My car insurance is $250. My car payments $500. It's rough out here.
What's actually crazy about this, when you think about it, even going back to the guy, he said something which explained a lot. Is he said everyone's broke, and he starts talking about how he's in a very difficult situation right now, which it happens, right? But then he's like, everyone I know is broke as well. Everyone, people that I see every single day, and it's like, of course, like why, why would that be a surprise? Because if you surround yourself with broke people, right, the likelihood is you are going to be broke as well. It's hard for you to escape what you surround yourself with when you see every single day. Now, my point is, you can be in a difficult situation. I've been there before, but this is the difference. When you find yourself in difficult situations, what you need to do is not to be listening. We're speaking finances. We're talking about money right now. Is not to be listening to the broke people that are around you. That's one thing you don't want to do. You want to listen to wealthy people. You want to ask them, okay, what are you thinking, Mr. Wealthy Man and Mr. Wealthy Woman? What are you believing, Mr. Wealthy Man and Wealthy Woman? What are you doing, most importantly, Mr. Wealthy Man and Wealthy Woman? That's what you need to do. You don't need to surround yourself with broke thinking, broke believing, and broke actions. Because you know what happens when you plant broke seeds? You reap broke fruit. Now, I don't know about you, but it's like, I'm finding more and more and more that I need to say this sort of stuff because people just don't think in this way. But if you don't want to be broke, I don't know about you, I don't want to be broke. Being broke is ungodly, right? And I'm not saying that if you're broke, you're doing ungodly stuff. I'm just saying that the devil is the person that wants you to be broke, not God. I just put it like that, right? He's the God of abundance. Just to keep this very simple, right? Surround yourself with wise people. Surprise, surprise. The wisest person in existence is God. And you know what he did? He's so wise, he gave you a book all about wisdom. So wise, in fact, that you have one for every single day of the month. I'm talking about Proverbs. So the guy is surrounding himself with broke people. He's going to be broke. It's as simple as that. And for the woman, like, if she's going through explaining her situation, childcare is expensive. We know this. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, right? Childcare is notoriously expensive by design as well. This is why if you're married, this is why it makes sense for the wife to stay home and to look after the children. Because that's not only typically the better opportunity, the best situation, like currently, but also when you forecast it into the future, right? Your children aren't being sent to schools which are trying to indoctrinate them into all sorts of devilish and demonic stuff. That in itself is a reason to homeschool, but we'll save that for another video, right? Your children are raised by people who you know love them. And she mentioned grandparents as well, moving to where her grandparents are, which again this is why it's good to be in a community of people. So children who are raised by their parents and their parents are like, get out of the house, get out of the house, get out of the house. Like, no, because you're stronger in numbers. So people laughed. I remember growing up, people used to laugh at the Asians, right? The Asians were the stereotypical ones who they cram in a house and they work together and they build together, and people are laughing. Oh, like you're staying in this crammed environment. Like, why? Because they could see down the road. They saw down the road. They said, you know what? Yes, let's work together. And even when they branch out, they still stay close by. They don't say, I'm going to this place, I'm going to this place, I'm going to this place. You hear the same stuff with the Jewish people as well, right? The Jewish people, they work together. Guys, there's strength in numbers. The Bible says that there's safety in a multitude of counsels. A multitude of counsel. When you have loads of people around you to counsel you in a wise way, that's where you're going to be safe. When you're on your own or you isolate yourself, that's when you find yourself, in situations which are going to be difficult, even harder than you need them to be. Now, I'm not saying yet you're never going to find yourself in struggling times, but best believe when you go through difficult situations and you have a spouse and you have family and friends that are close by, it helps. So she mentioned her car payment. Her car payment's $500 and this and this and this. This is why you buy your vehicle. You don't lease it. Because think about what they could do with that extra $500 a month. That's just one thing. I'm pretty sure if you start itemizing their finances, you're going to find things in their life which they're spending money on which they really shouldn't. I'm sure, if she's going to be honest, will tell you herself, if I had extra $500 a month right now, it would go a long way. You may not be driving the latest car, the latest model of car, but don't get it twisted. You could definitely drive a car which is more than reasonable. But you know what that takes? All it takes is just a bit of humility. You don't need to be buying a brand new car or driving a brand new car until you're making so much money. Okay, there's a couple of scenarios. Either it's work related, so it's necessary for work, really necessary for work, or your company is giving you the vehicle, or you're making so much money, it doesn't even matter if you buy a new car. If you're not in any of those three situations, which probably 95% of the population of the world aren't, then there's no reason why you should be buying a new vehicle. You should be buying a vehicle which is good and durable, but not new. And you should be working on making as much money as legally possible, as righteously possible, and then making decisions about, okay, what car do I want to drive? If you're not in that situation, you don't need. And this is why it's not about, this is where I'm coming from, right? It's not because I don't have compassion and empathy for people in this situation, because I'll continue to tell you, we've been in situations which have been financially difficult, but you know what I wasn't doing, at least for long periods in time? I wasn't feeling sorry for myself and saying, why is this happening to me? I was thinking to myself, what do I need to do in order to turn this around as quickly and as righteously as possible? That's what I was thinking. I was looking for avenues. I was taking avenues. I was taking steps that I knew already and continuing to up-level my skills so I could find myself in situations where things continue to get easier and easier and easier. And then, as you continue to take those steps, things will get better. Like, I used to say to my wife, and I still say it, things are getting better. Why? You know why I used to say that? Because I was constantly thinking about the brighter horizons in the future. I was constantly thinking about the wise seeds I was planting in the ground. And I still think that today. I still think about the wise seeds I continue to plant in the ground. You know why? Because the more wise seeds you plant in the ground, there's going to come a time in the future when harvest is coming. And boy, oh boy, is harvest going to be good. This is what you need to think about when you're in the valley. You need to be thinking about the mountain. You need to be thinking about the peak of the mountain. Boy, oh boy, that mountain's going to be good. It's going to be refreshing to drink that water from the peak of the mountain. Even though I'm down here in the valley right now, I'm going to plant those seeds. And as I continue to plant those seeds, they will best believe, because God is true. As long as the earth remains, God says in Genesis chapter 9, seed time and harvest will remain. So if I continue to plant those good seeds, as long as God gives me tomorrow and the day after that, best believe things are going to change, because God's word, his laws do not change. So yes, you may find yourself in a difficult situation like this, but that doesn't have to be the end. Don't continue to surround yourself with broke people. And even if for whatever reason, I'll give you this, right? For example, let's say, for example, you're in a family and your family's broke, right? And your family and your friends are broke. That doesn't mean you have to listen to them about financial advice. It doesn't. Connect. Thank God for the internet. You can listen to wise people, to wealthy people, and hear what they say, hear what they do, hear what they believe. Listen to them. Follow what they are saying. And eventually, over time, if you continue to dedicate yourself to those things, you will eventually start to see those same sorts of results. You have no excuses. So yes, we're all going to lick our wounds for a certain amount of time, however long that is. But once you've done licking your wounds, get over it, get to work, and start planting those wise seeds. Guys, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, don't forget to react righteously. God bless.